Hi guys, what's up? It's me, and I'm doing a 3 week update video. Just because people have been asking about how the lifestyle changes I've been making has been going. So I wanted to, I guess, kind of talk to you guys about what it's been like dealing with making huge lifestyle changes in such a short amount of time. Tomorrow will actually be the 3 week date since I've left the hospital. And I filmed this video maybe like 2 or 3 times, but none of the times that I had filmed it prior to this has felt right. I literally just filmed a version of this video before filming this, and it still didn't feel right. Just because I guess there's just so much to talk about, but I think I've narrowed down what I want to talk about. First and foremost, the easiest part of all of this has been quitting smoking, which I know is like, how? That's like an addiction, and you've been smoking for quite some time. However, quitting smoking has been really easy because when you go through something really traumatic, or you mentally are in a place where you know that your health is not the greatest and you know that you're at risk, you almost go into like this survival mode of like, I need to do what I can to preserve myself. So because of that, like, yes, I get cravings for smoking all the time, especially when I'm bored or like I have nothing to do, or I'm waiting, for example, like if I'm on break at work or if I'm waiting for the bus, like I'll get cravings, but I immediately just remind myself that like it's not worth it. Like after all of this, after everything that had happened, like putting my health at risk isn't worth it, and I need to make sure I'm doing what I can to preserve what I have going on. The hardest part of this whole process has everything to do with my diet, but also has a lot to do with my body image, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But my diet has been really difficult because I came to this realization after looking into the food that I was eating that prior to all of this, I wasn't eating healthy. And trust and believe when I say, like, I had thought I was eating healthy. Like, I had been getting rice bowls from, like healthy food outlets. Like, I had been eating out every day, but it wasn't like I was, like, eating, like, McDonald's every day, for example. Like, I was eating, like, brands that I thought were healthier, like that I thought would be doing good for my body, and marketed as healthy. Marketed is the key word. And what I've learned is anything that is marketed as healthy may have, sure, they may have some benefits to your body, sure, they may have more vitamins or like more nutritional value than some of the other food out there, but the amount of salt that's added to make that food taste good is insane. Like, I have learned that most food that's marketed as healthy isn't really healthy. It's like wild, especially eating out. Like, eating out has been like looking into the food that I was intaking, like, and the sodium amount. Like, trust, like, I just was putting in so much sodium into my body that it was ridiculous. So what I've been doing recently has just been cooking food at home, finding really healthy snacks that I can eat with that basically have like nothing in them, just as like whole as possible. And that has helped a lot. Cooking without salt has been really interesting. For those who don't know about my dietary restrictions, I cannot have salt, or like I have to have very minimal amount of salt if possible. I'm on a water restriction, which means that I can only drink 1.5 liters of water a day. The reason why I'm doing both of these is because for kidney failure, when you go through kidney failure and you're taking in salt, your body starts to retain fluid. And water restriction has a lot to do with my heart, but essentially the same thing happens. You retain fluid if you drink too much water due to heart failure. Because of that, I have to make sure that I'm not retaining any fluid, because if I retain fluid, it builds up in my chest and around my heart, and that is like basically the cause for prior to me going to the hospital. Sorry, prior to me going to the hospital, that is the reason why I couldn't breathe while I was sleeping or like laying down, because that fluid that I had been building up had been pressing against my heart and my chest. So, yes, Snapchat. I would say the hardest part of the dietary restrictions has just been eating out, like, with my friends. And, like, for me, for a really long time, and my friends will attest to this, I'm kind of an expensive friend. And that's not, like, I'm expensive. It's like, no, it's expensive to hang out with me, which is, like, crazy, but it's just the truth. Because whenever I want to hang out with people, like, I want to eat. Like, I want to go out, let's grab some food, like, and, like, chill and talk. And, like, that's kind of, like, my version of hanging out. But because of that, like, I've come to this, like, weird place where I can't eat out, obviously, because of my dietary restrictions, or, like, the places that I can eat out at are very minimal. So because of that, like, it's been really interesting trying to hang out with friends and trying to find things to do. Because they'll be like, let's eat out, because they're so used to me eating out with them. And then they'll be like, let's go to this place. And I'll be like, I can't eat there. There's nothing on the menu for me. And they'll be like, okay, you choose. And it's just been, like, kind of an experience. I don't know. That has been really difficult. And then the other thing that has been really difficult, and which I had mentioned earlier, and this is kind of, I guess, more serious, is my body image. Every morning, I have to get up and I have to weigh myself. And I keep track of this. I actually have an Excel spreadsheet of my weight. And a graph of what my weight looks like. And the reason why is if I see a spike, an increase in my weight, that could be a sign that I'm starting to retain fluid, which means that I need to go to the hospital. When I had started to weigh myself every morning once I left the hospital, I didn't expect that aspect of this whole process to be so difficult. And I think the reason why it's been so difficult is, 3 years ago, I had weighed maybe 180. Honestly, like, heading into 190 as far as, like, my weight, like 190 pounds. I'm 5'6", so 190 pounds is a lot of weight for someone my height. I had put on the weight really well, so, like, people never really noticed how big I was or that I was chunky until I had lost the weight and made the conscious decision to lose the weight. Like, I started to work out. I started to eat uncomfortably healthy, like super healthy. And I had lost around maybe 30 pounds. 40 pounds. And then when I went into the hospital, I lost 10 pounds. So now I weigh 140. And because of that, I have kind of gained this fear of losing weight. And that has a lot to do with the fact that I had lost weight before. I had weighed a lot before. It's not that I was really big or fat. I just don't want to go back to what that was. Like, I'm very happy with how my body looks right now. But every time I weigh myself in the morning, there is a little bit of fear of, like, did I gain weight? And for example, since I've left the hospital, I've gained 1 kilogram, which is around 2.2 pounds. That's not a lot by any means, shape, or form. But for me, that feels like a lot. Like, when I see that number, I'm like, holy shit, I gained a kilogram. But I know it's not a lot. So that has also been kind of difficult. Everything else has been pretty chill. Like, quitting smoking has been really easy. Taking my medication has been fine. I find that I'm much more organized in my daily life. Like, I have a calendar now that I keep track of all my appointments, for example, because I have to. And I also am a little bit less nervous about things. Like, I used to be someone who would get nervous about, like, going to get my passport renewed, or, like, anything that had to do with, like, sitting and waiting just made me feel really uncomfortable. Or anything with a process, anything that had to do with, like, fill out this form, X, Y, and Z, in order for this to happen, had always made me feel uncomfortable. But now I'm kind of just like, I'm over it. Like, after the hospital, after everything that happened, I'm like, fuck it. Like, let me just, give me the form. Like, I'll fill it out. It's fine. I'm cool. It's cool. I'm fine. It's cool. Meanwhile, on the inside, I'm like, oh my God, like, really, it's making me panic. But I digress. But yeah, that's been about it. I don't really have anything else to say, so